punctures, overheating, broken axles, wrong directions, collisions. Exclusive to Supersport, the Paris-Dakar Rally is proudly sponsored by Total Quartz Lubricants.
Welcome to our 6th day coverage of the Paris-Dakar event from Ouarzazate to Guillemine in Morocco. The last few days have been trying for South African competitor Alfie Cox. Now last night we managed to catch up with Alfie as he came in off the track, and he had some comments over the stages in Africa.
I started 4th on the road this morning, and it was just virtually impossible to catch the guy in front of you. And Mione was in front of me, and I've sat in his dust the whole day. And unfortunately, about kilometer 271, we had to turn into an oasis, and it was a big open plain. And I overshot by about 1 kilometer. And as I was turning to come back, Curry Tiernan came in my dust, and he got me. So he was the only one that basically passed somebody today. How we've started today is how we've finished. It's been a very frustrating day. I just hear all the riders crying about today. 330 kilometers, very medium to fast pace, but very frustrating. Stuck behind the guy in front of you in the dust. What can you do?
Obviously you're looking forward to the more technical stuff. How are you going to play that?
Well, that's always the nicest thing. If you can make your plan, if it's rough and tough on the day, you know, if it's a long stage like 300 Ks, or sometimes we have a 600 kilometer special, you know, the guys start getting weary halfway, and then it doesn't matter about the speed of the bike. You can be able to make a plan. The nice thing is tomorrow, being my birthday, I'm starting obviously in 6th place, and if I catch the guys tomorrow, I could see myself in 2nd place overall.
Well, Alfie did mention that today was his birthday, 38 years old today. So early this morning, in fact, it was about 4 o'clock, we got up and caught up with Alfie before he went off on today's adventure. And we wished him happy birthday.
Alfie, well, it is certainly your birthday. We looked for a cake as best as we could. We happened to find you a Mars bar and a candle. So there you go, mate. Happy birthday to Alfie Cox, 30 years of age today.
30 years, thanks.
What did you wish for when you blew that candle out?
A win today. You know, obviously, it's nice to win on your birthday, and I have my birthday most years on the Dakar. So, what's the time now? About 10 to 5?
10 to 5, yeah. 10
Been
to
up
5.
since 4 o'clock, so it's going to be a long day. And a win today on the birthday is definitely what I would like. So.
Well, I'm sure the rest of South Africa will join us in wishing you happy birthday. And, of course, we're all holding thumbs that you do get that stage win and pick up a few minutes along the way. Good luck, Alfie Cox.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Well, today's stage over 600 kilometers in length as those riders and drivers battle it out over the Moroccan sands and stone. Without giving too much away, Jean-Louis Schlesser is still leading the four-wheel brigade, and the Frenchman Richard Saint is leading on the two-wheelers. Well, I'll be back on Monday night for more reports from the Paris-Dakar. In the meantime, let's catch up with what happened today from Toby Moody.
Day 6 of the Dakar 2001 sees Spain's Juan Roma on his BMW win in the motorcycle section, whilst France's Luc Alphonse has a very, very bad day indeed with gearbox problems in his Schlesser-built Kangoo. But his team boss, Jean-Louis Schlesser, is victorious with the cars. Just looking back at what happened yesterday, the 2nd day in Africa for Dakar 2001, and many of the competitors coming into the bivouac saying how many people there were out on the stage. Trouble is, it's 8 o'clock in the morning, says this TV crew, and we're stuck in the sand. This is certainly not part of the plan. Well, bad luck befalls many people on the Dakar. As you can see on the right-hand side, here is number 307. This is Koen Waters, a Belgian pop star who's driving in the Dakar. You can see what conditions he had to contend with. sand beginning to get everywhere. Number 218, Jean-Francois Guinaud. Stuck in the sand, and even congratulating the locals for helping him. But as you can see, the rear wheels spinning on the front. He says here, two-wheel drive only since the stage start this morning. We got through the dunes very similar to this, but, well, we didn't quite get through this particular one. The pain and the anguish beginning to eke its way into many of the competitors. Can you come over and help, says Jean-Pierre Cassegrain. He said that there was a truck behind him that was struggling to get through his dust, and yet the truck, or the other vehicle, he didn't really see what actually nudged his rear bumper and therefore put him into a roll in his Mitsubishi. He was obviously not impressed. Terrible luck though for Spain's Manuel Plava Perez in his Nissan. As you can see, the drive shaft in the diff end broken, CV joint gone. He says it's impossible to repair here, and I really do just have to wait for my service truck. Dakar is a very, very emotional sporting event. Well, the winner of the motorcycle section yesterday on day 5 was Chile's Carlos de Gavado on his number 12 KTM. He began in 1996, and indeed he was a class winner in the marathon class in 98 and 99. Very, very unassuming guy. He was given a works ride on the full works machinery by KTM after his stunning performances last year in the Egypt Rally, the Master Rally and Dubai.
That's why I know, I don't know. It's very nice, and I'm very happy because I always push to the limit the other motorcycle.
Very, very sympathetic to his machinery.
Very nice work from my mechanic. All my sponsors, my country. This is the first Chilean that win this is first South American that win a rally, special of the Paris Dakar. It's fantastic.
One of the most amazing stories with regards to his family is that back in 1996, Carlos's father followed the rally by taxi.
And make the road book for tomorrow.
In the bivouac last night, Carlos keen to prepare his roadbook and get his tent up right next to the service area, and indeed working away on his roadbook immediately, highlighting the potential dangers.
Carlos,
hello.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good day for you, huh?
Yeah, it's very nice, and very happy, but at the same moment I'm very
I know. Yes. You are reasonable, no problem.
Yeah.
That's the kind of story we love on the Dakar, because he's not only a good driver, he's a kind of human hero for us.
Okay.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well, the stage today from Osaste down to Guillemine. Osaste at a height of 1,153 meters. And now, after the stage of just over 300 kilometers, down to the finish at Guillemine, and obviously a lot lower, closer to the sea.
Sorry, because I have this.
In your language.
Alfie Cox's birthday today.
Alfie.
Feliz cumpleaños para Alfie.
Saying in Finnish, happy birthday.
De trabajo para él.
Judy Arcaron saying happy birthday, maybe he'll win the stage today.
A lo mejor alguien le deja ganar la etapa. Sería un buen regalo para él.
Alfie,
Tanti auguri. Happy birthday.
Alfie oggi compie gli anni.
Mione saying, well, 38 years old for Alfie is not as much as I am, because I'm 43. Therefore, he has a few more years to win the Dakar. Happy birthday.
Quindi ha del tempo. Beato lui, ancora ha vari anni da sfruttare. Buon compleanno Alfie.
Ouais, ben, je lui souhaite bon anniversaire. On lui a
Richard
déjà
saying happy birthday. We wish him well, but we will not give him any gifts, particularly on the stage.
Mais bon, on va pas lui donner si facilement que ça quand même.
38 years old, eh?
you have
It's
any
not
wish?
so bad. Any wishes? Always to win the Dakar, but just to have a good day and to come to Dakar safely. That's my wishes. And
You don't think you are too old for that game?
not Mione's 43 years old and cannot be too old.
I was joking.
No, you're joking. No. I wish to come to the Dakar safe and have a good day today, and I think about my family at home.
Well, at dawn this morning, the South African TV crew gave Alfie a birthday cake, even if it was only a Mars bar with a candle shoved in it. Happy birthday, Alfie, from all on the Dakar 2001. Well, the celebrations didn't last long for Alfie Cox at the bivouac, even before the sun had risen, because soon everybody was on the 305-kilometre stage. Juan Roma on BMW Flat Twin, number 2. The Spanish rider, quickest on today's stage, with a time of 3 hours, 13 minutes and 39 seconds. And concerns about an introduction by the Dakar organisers last night about the refuelling points along the route for the motorcycles. Normally, when they enter the area for refueling, the time is neutralised, but not today. Therefore, the BMWs took a lot of fuel on board to try and avoid stopping. Here we speak with Les Diallo, the Senegalese rider. He says this is a testing stage. Very testing indeed for the legs. But we have to go, well, not maximum fast, but swiftly over the stones. You have to be very aware, otherwise they will catch you out. So just to repeat, many of the motorcycles taking a lot of fuel on board to avoid losing time at the control point. Bad luck for Christian de Keet on number 116, falling in front of our cameras here. He says, I think I've broken my foot.
J'ai cassé mon pied.
Très mal, tenez.
Also, number 108 not finishing today. He has fractured both his hands. That is rider number 108, Albert Batalla from Spain. Back with the action though. Sankt and De Gavado were battling it out. Richard Sankt passing Carlos De Gavado in what many other people have termed quite a risky manoeuvre on the right-hand side for Richard Sankt, but he got through cleanly to be second overall on the stage today, just 22 seconds behind Juan Roma. And likewise, also 22 seconds back was Finland's Kari Tiainen, dead level second. So Roma first, Sank second, Tiainen equals second, fourth on the stage today. The winner from yesterday, Chile's Carlos De Gavado. Very, very sympathetic rider. He did 3 rallies last year on a production machine that didn't even need to change a single part. Well, happy birthday for South African birthday boy Alfie Cox on number 9 KTM, 5th on the stage today to retain his 5th position overall. He was 2 minutes and 6 seconds back of Juan Roma, buoyed on by the South African TV crew, giving him at least some sort of a birthday cake very early this morning. Jordi Arcaron, 6th today on yet another KTM, whilst Fabrizio Mione, He was 7th today to be 6th overall after day 6 of Dakar 2001. Esteve Puyol from Spain completes and adds to KTM's domination inside the top 10, but remember the BMW's won today with Chroma. PG Lundmark, brilliant effort from him today to be 10th on his production machine, but a terrible day for America's Jimmy Lewis after a 70-mile-an-hour tumble yesterday in which he said he went over the handlebars and he really did feel like a rag doll. His left hand is really bruised, and indeed he was struggling to pull in the clutch by the time he got to the finish, nearly actually running over one of the marshals. He's in a very, very bad way. Lewis was 13th today, losing 16 minutes. Roma winning from Sankt, from Tiernan, from De Gavado and Alfie Cox. Sankt leads overall from Finland's Tiernan. Juan Roma the winner today, 3rd overall. De Gavado 4th. South African Alfie Cox 5th. Richard Sankt saying here, we were on a very stony stage, but after 20 kilometers, I went for him. He means De Gavado. I tried to overtake him, but on these roads, you cannot go onto the edges because of the big stones that line the road. Then I went very close to him, and I was obliged to refrain. I eventually followed him for about 60 kilometers like that, and finally I found a way through on the road, and I could overtake him.
I hit just a little bump. It was a normal bump, and I did a pretty big crash at probably pretty high speed. And I think when I landed, I hit my wrists on the ground, and I thought they were both broken. I mean, I could barely hold on, and I kind of milked it into the end of the finish and was able to come into the bivouac, and then we, had it checked out by a few doctors, and they're not broken, so, but they're sore, really sore. So I just kind of maintained, just kept going today. So it's a long race, and maybe the next few days they get better.
So today it was difficult.
It was rough and bumpy, and I felt every bump in a bad way. But it was a fast stage. It was actually the worst stage for our bikes, for the BMWs. But obviously, since Nanny wins it, it shows you that our bikes are doing pretty good. This was a perfect KTM stage. So it was. I can't wait till we get out in the real desert.
It's a straight road from there to here with big stones, and you cannot go left or right to overtake. It was just you had to keep cool today, and I think it was a waste of a day.
For your birthday, it was not so funny.
It was terrible, really, really terrible. But anyway, that's the racing, and one position better than yesterday, but not good.
Amazing story today on the Dakar 2001 with a Swiss cyclist who left home 7 years ago. He's already completed 114,000 kilometers, encompassing 58 countries.
Je fais le tour du monde à vélo là depuis 7 ans. Je viens de la Suisse et bon, j'ai traversé 58 pays là, j'ai pédalé 114 000 km à travers l'Europe, l'Asie, les Amériques et l'Afrique. Donc je vais terminer en mars.
He's been through Eastern Europe.
Sur ma route du retour sur Genève en Suisse. Voilà.
And then to Alaska, all the way down to Argentina. Finally took a plane to South Africa. Now in Morocco, he hopes to be home in 3 months' time, back in his hometown of Geneva. The cars were the rage today with a glorious sounding V6 engine of Jean-Louis Schlesser barreling through the small villages to be fastest by the time he got to the end of the 305 kilometer stage as we approach the entrance essentially to the Sahara Desert. Jean-Louis actually changed the rear suspension in some way. He wouldn't let on what he did to his Schlesser buggy, but he changed his suspension overnight in order to get over this very, very rocky stage. Maybe he changed the track. He probably did. Who knows? But if he changed the track, he probably drew it in so that the rear wheels were following in line with the fronts. Normally, the fronts are a little narrower than the rears. Schlesser quickest from Serbia by 42 seconds. Third on the stage today, Jean-Pierre Fontenay in the Mitsubishi number 201. He had no punctures today, but drove reasonably quickly without taking any chances. He had Thierry Delaverne come past him about 30 kilometers before the end of the stage, but then he found Delaverne on the side of the road with a puncture. And of course, remember that the Mitsubishis are a little heavier than the Schlesser buggies, and he could see the two Schlesser buggies just pulling away into the distance, and there was just nothing that Jean-Pierre could do about it. He'll just have to wait until the dunes. Remember that the buggies are two-wheel drive, the Mitsubishis and the Nissans, etc., four-wheel drive. Stunning scenery as always as we follow the Oued Dra on a very rapid and stony stage before reaching the bivouac in Guillemine, one of the towns labelled as the doors to the desert, which are strung across South Morocco. And in the past, the bivouac where the crews finished this evening, a very important camel caravan rendezvous before they enter the desert. Fourth position today, the Mitsubishi of Hiroshi Mashioka. He punctured once in the middle of the stage, but given the fact that he only finished 40 seconds back of Jean-Pierre Fontenay, who didn't have a puncture, Mashioka was pretty pleased with that. Thierry Delaverne in his Nissan. He said he had a slow puncture, but the co-driver says 200 meters to the dip. Through the dip he goes. And he continues to say, if we get to the end of the stage at this speed, it'll be good. But it is a very stony stage, and it's hard to keep a good rhythm. The co-driver interjects 500 meters and there's another dip, and we leave the onboard action from the Frenchman's Nissan. He did have a slow puncture, but he managed to drive pretty well with the Mitsubishis all day, and he was happy to keep on a pace with the Mitsubishis, which as a rule are a little quicker than the Nissan. Sousa was sixth behind Thierry Delaverne on the stage. Germany's Jutta Kleinschmidt here in her Mitsubishi. I cannot look at the landscape, she says, but there are some good views out there. What can you see, is the question from the helicopter. At that point, the co-driver interjects, listen, we've got a double caution coming up. And Jutta answers back, I'm sorry, I can't answer the question. I really have got to concentrate very hard at the moment. She didn't have any punctures though. Kleinschmidt 7th, Bruno Sabi from France in his two-wheel drive Ford. He was 8th fastest. Grégoire de Mavius, you can hear the knocking coming from his Nissan. He had a problem with the front diff. He maybe thought that the diff was not mounted properly. There's a lot of noise at slow speed. The faster that the Belgian went, the less noise that came from that front diff, but of course he didn't know what the problem was whilst he was on the stage. Not a good day for Luc Alphon, the former downhill ski racer in his buggy. He had a gearbox problem 35 kilometers into the stage that saw him come to a halt.
Là, ça fait combien de temps que vous êtes là?
How long have you been here?
Oula, compte plus, mais bon, 45 minutes, 3 quarts d'heure.
About 45 minutes.
Ah, mais là, maintenant, il faut être philosophe.
You have to be philosophical about it, though.
Déjà, on est au Maroc, on n'est pas perdu.
I will wait for the mechanics, but
On a un camion de course derrière qui a une boîte.
we're not lost here. We're in Morocco. In Mauritania, it might be a little harder. Alphonse running with a semi-automatic, Schlesser in the two-wheel drive buggy running with a H-pattern 5-speed box. So no similarities between the three teammates there. Magnali, first position today for him in T1 class, whilst Stefan Pederhansel was second in T1, 21st overall. Magnaldi only 19th overall on the stage. The pair of them split by a mere minute and a half on the stage of just over 4 hours. Pierre Lartigue here, speaking with us. Says there are many rocks on the road. But the good thing is that the car is good. And there's a truck in front of us. However, the view really is quite stunning if we have a chance to look out. Be careful, says the co-driver. Be careful with the small trees just on the edge of the road. Small saplings that some of them may have died, and the softwood has almost fossilized itself. Serbia won yesterday on the stage. Schlesser wins today. The pair of them split by 42 seconds. Fontenay, the leading Mitsubishi, 8.5 back. Mashioka and Thierry Delaverne in the top 5 on behalf of Nissan. Schlesser leads overall from his teammate Serbia. Jean-Pierre Fontenay, Thierry Delaverne, 4th in his Nissan, and Hiroshi Mashioka.
It
was very rocky and stony at the beginning, but later it was faster with some big bumps. I couldn't really do anything too much. Delaverne overtook me, and I tried to then maintain a good rhythm. But the important thing today was to get through it without any punctures. We did some jumps that were very high.
So our car is a very good sport suspension. Every jumping spot is every time is flat, so very easy to accelerate. So I like this Pajero.
Okay, thank you.
In the truck section on our 305-kilometre stage today on the Dakar, a victory for Chagin in his Kamaz number 424. These trucks really are monsters of the desert if you look at camels as ships of the desert. They are quite amazing. The engineering involved, well, it may be agricultural, but it doesn't break. The Hino of Sugawara was 6th today, losing 21 minutes to Chagin. And the one vehicle that the competitors do not want to get stuck behind is a truck. The maximum amount of dust being thrown up in their faces. 3 crew on board, of course. And all of that weight. Leading overall, therefore, is Chagin from Kabirov and Brazil's de Azevedo. Tomorrow sees the last stage in Morocco before the huge stretches of desert, where we will discover from Smara on the desert. The first 100 kilometers tomorrow sees the track get progressively faster and then quite rocky and tricky later on.